Hello, I'm Lisa Bowerman and I play Bernie Summerfield, and welcome to Audio Heads Podcast.
I'm going to mute myself.
Yes, I will as well.
No, it's fine. It's fine. This is Audio Heads, the product of Geeks Assembled, and we're here. And no, I didn't want you guys to meet yourselves. Jeez, a bunch of rebels. This is the Frankenstein cast. We're talking about the Arthur Darvill rendition of Frankenstein, a modern-day Prometheus, by Mary Shelley. And we were talking about where she was buried and stuff. So, Beef Dad, would you tell about that?
Yeah, Mary Shelley is buried in a graveyard in Bournemouth. She's also buried with her husband's heart. Shelley's heart is buried with her because he died abroad, but his heart was preserved and sent to Mary Shelley, and it was buried with her.
Wow,
That's quite apt, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
What she wrote.
a bit romantic, a bit gothic.
Well, what do you expect from the Shelleys?
I know, right? So, what did you just as a starting point? Where did you think of Frankenstein, done by Arthur Darvill and company?
I think they did an excellent job. I read the book when I was in my early teens, and it's probably the closest adaptation to the book that I have ever heard, seen, whatever. They don't concentrate on the effects, the laboratory. It's that side of it is all played down greatly, and yeah, it's very, very, very good. And of course, Nicholas Briggs playing the creature is just superb, because everybody seems to think that you get the Karloffian version where all the time, but that isn't
no words, right?
Yeah, that isn't true at all. That's nothing like the book. The creature at some points in the book is quite erudite and well spoken. The story of him and the family that he tried to help, where he was the guardian angel, that's all part of the story. And the female creature, which obviously they did a similar sort of thing in Bride of Frankenstein, a sort of part 2 of the story, but nothing like it. Nothing like the real story, but the Big Finish version, very much like the real story. Excellent, brilliantly done. Terry Malloy playing Christensen was brilliant. He really was good. Georgia Moffat as Elizabeth did a brilliant job. She did a really superb job, and I loved Jeffrey Beavers. Oddly enough, that's Jeffrey Beavers was a master. Terry Malloy was a
Davros.
Davros. Thank you for the prompt. I was losing my voice then.
No, I know, and Arthur Darvill was Rory, of course, Rory the Roman.
Yeah, and Jeffrey Beavers does a brilliant job as Frankenstein's father. He really is just so good. Yeah, all in all, and the way the story was told, I just loved it. I just absolutely loved it. It's long, but the reason it's long is because they kept it as much to the book as is possible, and it is just superbly done.
Yep. Okay. Tim, Texas Tim, I'm so glad you're here. I really I'm really glad that you're safe and everything, and I'd like to hear what you think about Frankenstein and anything else you want to talk about, actually, because I'm just glad you're here.
I agree with Beef Dad. It's a very well-made play. Here's the thing: I didn't know until, or it never dawned on me until I saw the 1990s version of Frankenstein with Kenneth Branagh and Robert De Niro. It never dawned on me that I mean, after years of seeing all these Frankenstein stories and stuff, that the real monster in the story is Dr. Frankenstein. The beast is incidental to that. He's not the monster. And I think this particular version made that very clear. This guy is an unlikable bastard. I'm sorry, I have to get up.
That's fine. And we'll just bounce over to Lee. What do you think, Lee? Let us know.
First of all, I would just like to say, Jeffrey Beavers, I could sit and listen to him read a telephone directory. His voice, him and Tom Baker, I could listen to all day. It's just a superb voice, and I agree. What a part he played as Dr. Frankenstein's father. Yeah, as Beef Dad said, it's stuck to the book. I remember reading this book years ago. I'm sure I read it at school for an essay or something like that. But it has literally. This is why it's 3 hours long, but it's 3 volumes. And it's done as Dr. Frankenstein's. It's like his diary, isn't it, to begin with? Then it goes on into the action. I don't know whether I'm convinced with Arthur Darvill as Dr. Frankenstein. I don't know. He did a good job, but I don't know if I'm convinced about his portrayal of the man. I loved Nicholas Briggs as the monster, but I also loved Nicholas Briggs as I forgot his name now, who became the monster. Can't remember the character's name.
Wildman.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, I loved that part. Where he turned on him. He took him by surprise, and that was. I loved him as that, and as I said, as the monster. Wonderfully done. As it's been said, yes, I knew that the monster is literal. He can't speak. He thinks. He plans. And it's a good story. Some people may say, yeah, 3 hours is 3 hours too much for this story. I don't know, because I got into it having read the book. It passed real quickly for me, but as I say, every actor in this did their job well. It's as you said, Terry Malloy on the ship, and Georgie Moffat. I can't remember names today. Georgie Moffat. Brilliant in this.
Dalton played the captain.
Yeah. Thank you, Big Dad. But yeah, it's very gothic. It drags you in, and as you say, you feel for the monster. But I don't know. I think I was confusing the movies when I was listening to this to the part with the blind man, because I was sat listening to it and I'm thinking, that didn't happen. The blind man didn't turn on him, did he? But it's been so long ago since I read the book, I couldn't remember if that happened in the book. So the blind man turned on the monster when all the other people came into the house. Because that took me by surprise. That's part of it. But all in all, I enjoyed it. It's I'd recommend it if you like the Legends of Frankenstein. If you've seen the movies, if you've read the book, this is just another adaptation, and as we say, it is damn close to the book, as far as I remember. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thanks, Lee. How about you, Tim? Are you back with us?
Yeah, I was saying that the characterization of Dr. Frankenstein in this was really something else. I mean, such an irredeemable character. I mean, he really is a piece of work. I mean, he's from the beginning. He's like, "Oh, I'm so good. I'm so smart. I can do anything I want to. Look, boom, I'm gonna make a man." And then within seconds, he's so afraid of it, he runs home to daddy. And it's like, he's such a selfish person. I've never seen. I never realized that the character was like that, because they even mellowed him out in all the movies you've seen. Even that one from the 90s, that tried to stay close to the book, but was a bit too, I don't know, a bit too something. It wasn't very successful. But yeah, this guy, I don't know. I mean, Lee, I just forgot it was Arthur Darvill. I thought he gave a good performance, but he was such an unlikable character that you couldn't wait for him to finish. I mean, yeah. But
yeah, but I know what you mean. But I don't know if I just felt I was a bit unconvinced of his portrayal of the Doctor. I don't know. I mean, he was a good, he's a brilliant actor. We all know that, and I just didn't. It works all right for me in the end.
He seemed like a sort of ADHD version, because he was all over the place. He was always just thinking of himself. I mean, look at how he treated his former lover. I don't recall her name, but she goes and gets hung because what the Beast did, and he's just like laughing all the way, like like who cares? And then I literally thought at the point when the Beast was coming on his wedding night that he was just gonna say, yeah, go ahead, I don't like her anyway. I mean, just get rid of her. I mean, that's the attitude he kind of had. You believe he's
Maybe I'm just too used to Arthur Darvill playing goody two-shoe characters, sort of thing. Maybe.
I don't know. I've only ever seen him in Doctor Who and a couple other things. I haven't really.
But he's never been a little sort of a bad guy sort of thing.
Another thing I found kind of unbelievable was that captain on the ship. I mean, maybe it was because they intercut those bits into the story instead of having it be just the framing device. Is he really just going to sit down there and listen to some guy talk for hours and hours and hours while his men are mutineering up? I mean, they're so fed up with this guy. They're just like, take over the boat. He's now go away. I'm listening to my story. It's like, come on, that's just kind of unrealistic. But I mean, that's the way they decided to tell the story, and it doesn't really take anything away from it. He just seems like a very irresponsible captain. Yes, but overall, the production was very good. I mean, and it was very well acted. I mean, it is a bit long, but I mean, that's to be expected. They were trying to stick as close to the book as possible. Beavers was also excellent in his two parts that he played, both the father and the blind man later. Yeah, I couldn't believe how unlikable Dr. Frankenstein was. I mean, he was such a scoundrel throughout. He had no redeeming qualities at all. And I've never seen it really done that way, but that's fine. I mean, that's good. You couldn't wait for him to get, I guess, hugged to death at the end. I mean, that was pretty funny. But there you go. That's all I got for now.
Cool. Thanks. I agree about his irredeemability. That character was just ridiculous. But Arthur Darvill, I've seen him play evil Rip Hunter on the Legends of Tomorrow, and I've seen him play good, a priest in Broadchurch, and I've seen him play Rory the Roman, and I really can't fault his prowess in this. It was a long one. Alex agrees that it was a long story, but I got captivated by it. I got caught up in it. It wasn't so difficult to really find the performances and to find those moments. I love the moment where his former lover is becoming the bride of Frankenstein, and there's like that moment where her voice switches from the monster voice, the bride monster voice, back into her real voice, and then into, it was like a supernatural sort of shifty, and I was like, wow, that's beautiful. Oh my gosh, I blew my mind. I was like, that's cool. So anyway, that, like, because of Big Finish, there are moments like that. Anyway, yeah. So I'm really glad that we've listened to this. Were there any like standout things, like moments like that I just shared, that grabbed you guys, or what?
Well, that right there is another example of how cruel he is, because the creature wanted a wife or a girlfriend, and he goes ahead and does it, and then just kills her right in front of him. I mean, it's like, and burns her to death. I mean, that's what a cruel guy this Frankenstein is. I mean, it's inexplicable. I don't really get why he would go through all that trouble to create another creature, and then just burn it right in front of the the creature. It's just. Is that what happened in the book, or?
I've been trying to remember that, and to be perfectly honest, I don't have a copy of it here. My copy disappeared many years ago. But yeah, I think he did destroy her, and that was one of the reasons why his creature, his. I love the way that they kept in the mother-father thing, that Frankenstein was the mother-father of the creature. Justine was, I think the girl who played Justine and the female creature did a brilliant job. I think she did a really superb job.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was an excellent performance. But the thing that everybody thinks about with Frankenstein is that he's got a hunchback assistant. Well, no, he didn't have a hunchback assistant. The actual person who came and helped him was Voldemort.
Who became the monster?
His brain was put into the creature.
Right.
It's so cleverly done. Of course, it all kicks off at the university in Ingolstadt, which is about 20 minutes away from here. And I've been to Ingolstadt, and I just felt so good going there. This is where Frankenstein was born. It's a real piece of magic. People don't think of Frankenstein as being Bavarian, but he is. The fact that he could have saved her from the hangman and didn't, because he would then get the body and the use of the body, was so cold and calculating, and that is very much the way he is in the book. The book ends with the monster disappearing across the ice into an ice cave, and it's never seen again. Excellent performance from Nicholas Briggs there. It was just so much like the creature in the book. It really was just unbelievably like the creature in the book. And as I say, the performance from Justine, straight female creature, the bit where she's pleading with him to save her life, which he could have done and didn't. And then the bit later on where she is the creature and she asks him to kill her. And he does. But in such a cold, unpleasant way. It's pure Mary Shelley. It's just superb. It really is very, very, very good. I'll shut up now.
Okay, Lee, go for it. Tell us a moment or something else that kept you.
What else? What else can you say? I mean, everything what everybody said. They're all standout moments, but little moments in it at the end of it where the captain with the mutiny just shoots his first mate, and that's the end of the mutiny. Just things like that, and as I say, with the confrontation between Frankenstein and his father, I think that is in this volume 2 of that to
Victor.
Yeah, Victor. Yes, just those two together, the father and the son, just confront. Just that is a brilliant scene. Played so well. Jeffrey Beavers again. You can't go wrong with Jeffrey Beavers. There's nothing I can complain about this. Okay, I know I said a bit about Arthur Darvill, but I think it's just because I see him as a goody two-shoes sort of character actor, and I think it was so out of character for him to be playing this sort of character for me, but I got used to it. But it's all in all, I agree with what Beef Dad says, and I agree with Tim. It's from beginning to end. There's every scene in it is just wonderfully done, and as I say, the sound production. It just takes you. It just takes you in, and you feel like you're there in that period of the. It's,
Definitely.
Yeah, and there's of pitchforks and the villagers coming to get you.
Okay, Tim. Any further moments that you'd like to talk about?
I mean, again, this guy should have been stopped. 10 minutes into the whole story. This guy was a relentless jerk. I mean, this I can't get over the fact that he's that bad of a person. And even towards the end, his old man has spent all of his fortune trying to get this guy out of trouble all the time, and he doesn't even care. He's just like, I think his father dies or something, right? Or he talks about it in a later scene when he's telling the story still, and it's like he's such a cruel person. I mean, I can't believe he got away with it, and he deserves everything he gets. But yeah, otherwise, it's like everybody said, it's a very good production. It's pretty flawless, I would think. I mean, there's a couple of things like I could kind of tell that was Beavers again doing double duty as the blind man because he's got a very distinctive voice, and that's not really a flaw. It's just that I would have thought it was a bit obvious. But are you saying also that scene where that family turns out to be a bunch of jerks as well? Beef Dad, are you saying it wasn't like that in the book? Because I mean, it was funny. They immediately once he showed them who he was, they wanted to make him a circus freak and make money off of him. Does that happen in the book as well?
Yeah, as far as I can recall, yes, something of that.
I wasn't expecting that. I also thought it was a bit telling that the character Nick Briggs played was obviously going to be the person he used for the final part of the body, because otherwise why would he be playing that part? It was obviously Nick Briggs. I just assumed he was going to take his whole head and put it on there rather than the brain. But then again, it's an audio, so it doesn't matter. I mean, you're visualizing a Nick Briggs Frankenstein creature because he is that kind of tall, gangly guy. So, I mean, it works perfectly for your visuals.
All right.
Yeah, this is a great.
Yeah. All right. So let's do final bits, and then we will rate it and discuss what we're doing next in a fortnight. And I'm so glad we're back together. It has been a month, since we've since we've gathered. So yay, we're back. Okay, let's start with Lee. Let's give Lee the go first.
Yes, well, final thoughts on this. Yeah, it's worth a listen to. Okay, it's 3 hours long, but you get dragged into the story. I agree with Tim there. You've just, when you mentioned about the reuse of actors for different characters, yeah, you could tell it was Jeffrey Beavers. You'd have thought that maybe could have tweaked his voice a bit in the production, I suppose. But as I say, it's Jeffrey Beavers' voice. Who doesn't love his voice?
Can you imagine the directions? Can you imagine the director's like, can you sound a bit more blind, please?
Yes. Yeah, it's well adapted. I recommend it to anyone that, you know, if you like your classic horror Mary Shelley novel, give this a listen. So, and I will give this. I'm giving it 9.5. Just because of these little niggles I had, but that's all. It's only little niggles, but 9.5 is still a damn good listen.
Thank you. And Tim, what did you think of this? Final bits and score.
I agree. It was very good production, very well made. I'm also going to give it a 9.5. I think it's nearly perfect, but there are one or two things, I guess, that kind of stick in your craw, I guess. I don't know. But for the most part, it's a very well made production, and I would recommend it to anybody that's interested. It's not your daddy's Frankenstein. It's not your Boris Karloff. It's not your, you know, this is like the real deal, the real Gothic novel story, which is what they're trying to present here, I guess. So good on them. They keep doing these things, and people keep enjoying them. That's
great. And Jeffrey Beefdad, what did you think?
Well, nobody's mentioned Jeffrey Breton playing Henry Clerval, his best friend, who's actually I always thought that his best friend was also in love with Elizabeth, and he did a superb job. And Stephen Fool playing Kremper, his professor at the university, and the judge that sentences Justine to death. He was really, really good. There was a couple of little bits that they missed out that stuck in my head from the book. And so, yeah, for me, it also gets a 9.5.
Thank you. In my humble opinion, it is a wonderful work. It's really incredibly captivating, much like all Gothic things are. And the richness of it was great. So, and there were some startlingly cool moments that were translated really well. So I think I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. And I would like to thank everybody for watching, for listening to Frankenstein, for reading the book, for watching the movies over the years, for enjoying the genre, and thank you, Mary Shelley, for writing it and then dying and sticking and grabbing your husband's heart and taking that with you too. It's just all good stuff. It's all very Gothic. It's all very cool. And please like and subscribe. I mean, stick with our channel. It's pretty amazing, like what we're talking about all the time. And this week we're covering Arsenic and Old Lace and some $6 Million Man stories. So pretty fun fun stuff, and stay tuned for those, and give us a comment, and thank you for watching. This has been Audio Heads. Come back in a fortnight.